asking me to do this. This is exciting.
Oh,
I've done a few interviews, but it's so great to talk to another decorator because
oh,
nobody knows what we do. It's so
oh,
great.
no,
And
no one,
even people we work with don't know what we do.
nobody knows the pain that we go through and
Oh my God, it's
the
crazy,
heartache.
but I love it.
I have to start out with there are so many articles and so much attention that's been given to the design and the decor. Like I applaud you guys for and the writers and the producers for allowing that to be such an impact in the story. So and that brings attention to our craft. So thank you for being so spectacular at it.
Thank
I
you. That's a
mean,
great compliment. I mean,
it's
the sets on Severance, they're a character within themselves, and our producers recognize that, so we get the support that we need to make the sets amazing. And it's other projects, it's not always that way. That it's that, like, sometimes they don't recognize, producer doesn't really recognize the value of the visuals of the show, and nothing could be further from the truth on Severance.
yeah.
It's really a critical part of the show. And I gotta give a hand. Jeremy Hindle, our production designer, is a genius in many ways, but one of the things that is he really great at is just getting us the time that we need and getting the support we need, and getting the schedules we need. If the ADs come out with a schedule that's not really something that works for us, he will fight for it and get the time that we need. And that's really why one of the reasons our sets are so successful.
It's so important. It's really time, I mean time, money, and making it good. And you can pick two, really, is what we
Yeah,
always say. But
yeah,
having the time, especially because in some of your sets, and I'm sure, and I'll ask you about this in a bit, the detail that they want in there, you have to have time to get those things. You can't just whip those up. So
no, we do.
you have
And the other great thing about Severance in this the way that we work, because this all leads to it being different than all other shows, um, is again the time. We camera test so many things. Ben and Jess, our DP, they love to camera test, which means that just builds in time into our schedule because we always allow time to do the testing, and then we always want the sets ready, a
early.
good bit ahead of time, so we can get in and make any adjustments and changes. So there's no. It's one of the great things. I mean, Summits is really hard, but it's not hard in the sense of we're never scrambling, and I work really hard with my team to make sure that we're not scrambling, because so everything is a thought out choice, and we have the time to do it. I'm not in line at Target at
Oh,
10 p.m. loading up a cart. Now I've done that on many shows, but that's not
well,
what we do.
let me ask you, were you in line at Target? Oops, on I started at the I started at the bottom. Now you're gonna see everything I'm gonna ask
That's
about. Oh
okay.
boy,
Great.
here we go. I'm at the
Excited
bottom.
by some of these things.
Uh,
Oh God, this is
were
great.
you at Target for this one? Were you at Target for Knives Out? Because the layering, because I wanted to start with
No.
the the opposite look of Severance would be the layered
Yeah,
and just character driven of these sets that you have done
yeah.
recently, like Knives Out and Spaceman. I mean, this set
So,
alone is
yeah, my God. So Knives Out, is pretty much in my wheelhouse of the types of sets that I
yeah,
feel I'm really good at,
John
and then
Wick
I
and
enjoy doing. I like layers and detailed stuff. So, uh, but the process for like Knives Out and Severance and John Wick and whatever job I'm on, the process is for me is always kind of the same. You have a set of skills as a set decorator, and you apply it to many different things. So I don't have a specialty. And the process for me always starts with a lot of research, a lot of visual research, and the point of that research is so I can kind of figure out where the set's going and how to proceed with it and how to start shopping for it. and B, to make sure I'm on the same page with the production designer and then the director. So I'll do a lot of research. I'll pull together a lot of imagery, usually photographs, but paintings, art, whatever can come from a lot of different sources. Um, and I really do that almost sometimes before I'm even on the job. And then I'll sit with the production designer to make sure it's, the best way for me to communicate is through images. Um, and then we'll align ourselves on the same page. They'll show me what they've been doing. And it's always great when they pull out a piece of research that's a piece of research that I have, because then I
Yeah.
know, wow, we're definitely on the same page. Um, and then we kind of develop a look, and then we'll present it to the director to make sure we're on the same page with the director. And then, we kind of move full speed ahead. So Knives Out, very different than Severance, but kind of in some ways the same. The process
Process,
is the
yeah,
same.
process on every show is kind of the same, but if
Yeah.
big shows, little shows, your process is kind of like how, and everybody's process is kind of the same, but everybody's different.
Yeah.
What you start with and how you go through it, but we all have to. And the other thing too that I always say, like if you've ever been on a show and they don't do the meetings in the right order, it really throws you off. You're like,
Yeah.
I'm doing it right. I need my concept here and I need my meeting here. Like,
Um, I mean, I really, I try to get in really early with my research so I can kind of push my ideas. So I'm
yeah,
not just, being, I know I've been doing this a long time. So now we have, concept artists and, it's always important for me to get them information before all of a sudden we have a concept of a set and it has nothing at all to do with what I'm thinking. And the designers always say, "Oh no, it doesn't really matter, that it's just an idea." But then the next thing you know, the director's like, "Well, where's that chair that was in
yeah, yeah,
So there was a couple points on Severance where I didn't, well, I wouldn't say I threw a fit, but there was some art coming through and it didn't really have anything to do with what I was thinking, and what the designer hadn't seen any of it yet. It was just things that were percolating, and I was like, "No, you have to give me a couple days to get the set dressing, at least, what we're thinking, so you can put it into the drawings." And fortunately, Jeremy, really backed me up on that. He's like, "No, we have to, we have to get all that in there first." So,
you have a wonderful website, I should say, at
oh, thank you.
dbschlesinger.com. It's really great to like look at all your set photos. You've fantastic set photos also, which I myself, some projects you get good ones and some
Yeah.
don't, which is a bummer. I could talk to you about Damages, I think for an hour. Damages was such a
The,
great
the
show,
the the
but
process of breaking things, or the TV
oh,
show.
oh, damn it. No, no. Well, no. Damages season one is a
Yeah.
great, that's a great season of television right there. That was fantastic.
Thank you.
But the first episode of 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 Severance, I literally stood up on my TV, paused it, and took a picture of these chairs and this scene because I thought this is so perfect. And how the hell did he get all these chairs? How'd you get them all? They're perfect.
So, well, let me just talk about the whole room, because I love this set, and it's people aren't talking about it that much on all the design.
Oh,
So this set was at Bell Labs, which is the location we shoot a lot of
yeah, the
the real
conference room.
stuff. And it was a raw space. There was nothing there. Concrete floors, concrete ceiling, and I walked through with Jeremy, and I was really excited by it. And he's like, "Yeah, we're gonna have a 60-foot conference table," which initially the room was much bigger. We cut it down to make room for that. There's an ante room. So the table I think was like 40 feet, and I was really excited by that because I knew I would be, we'd have to make it, and I wanted to find something that we've never seen, but I wanted a surface that we just didn't know what it was, and was kind of ethereal and floated, and we looked at a lot of different things, and finally, I was looking at some resin furniture, and resin seemed like the way to go, and we started working with a resin artist, and he made the table. So the table's fabricated. The chairs are Shiro Kuramata. It's called the Apple Honey Chair, and we just bought bought them at auction. We got really lucky with a couple different sets of fairly large sets, and this is again where time really, on a lot of shows you won't be able to do this because you just don't have the time.
What
We
was
had
your prep? What was your prep?
I don't know.
You don't know.
I think I should have checked that out before. I mean, I probably started maybe 14 weeks before we started shooting. And I mean, and then this set was, you know, fairly far into shooting. So,
You
and
didn't have, they didn't have
we
any of
had a
the
chunk of time.
standing sets, right? Because it was so long ago.
We did. We
You did. You had,
had MDR was standing. The severed floor was standing. What else was standing? Um, Cobell's office was standing, but we redid it.
right,
We changed it to new character. Mark's house was standing. So I did not do season one.
right.
Uh, yeah, we had
Well, that was
we had
nice. You didn't have to like give
we had
that
three
time.
stages. Yeah, we had three stages of scenery up, and then we ended up with two more stages. We took over the whole facility, so we had five stages plus we had Bell Labs, which is basically a stage. I mean, we had this set there and a couple others, and then yeah, I think it was we had standing sets kind of all over the place.
So if,
Um,
so if you have like 60 chairs here, maybe
no, it's no, I don't. I could look. I don't know how many.
40,
It's not that many, maybe 40.
40.
And then in New York, we do things differently in New York. Just the we have different kind of jurisdiction for set dressing. So we do flooring, so we do all
Wow.
carpeting and tile, and we do
Glass.
ceilings.
Yeah, you do glass.
So and we do glass, which is I did John Wick 3, which we had a glass building, so that was insane. But so in this set, like all these light fixtures I had fabricated, the ceiling is an amazing ceiling, which you don't really see, but we installed that. The set dressing installed that. It's a metal ceiling, and then carpeting. So we're doing. It's always funny. Producers come in from LA and they look at our man days and like, oh, you get so many. Why do you have so many people? This is and because we do a lot more. It's like
Yeah,
you have the same number of people in LA or somewhere else. It's just other departments, construction's doing it or somebody else is doing it. It's just
yeah. It's the same. Still the same amount of work. It's just a different
yeah.
department doing it. I
They
mean,
don't. They never understand that. It's so
yeah, I don't.
funny.
Well, I don't understand why it's different in New York than it is in LA. It's weird to me.
Yeah, I don't either. It's just tradition, and I think this is
It's weird.
our union is structured a little differently too. And I'll talk about this because it affects. So and maybe I'm wrong but in LA, isn't it like you have categories? So you have set decorator, lead person,
Yeah,
assistant set decorator. In
yeah.
New York, it's just all one. We're all it's a prop. So my card says prop. So which
But yeah, we're all like prop makers, but then we're divided. Yes.
yeah, we're not divided here. So which is great because people can move around.
Yeah.
It's easy to move around. A lot of my, assistant decorators are really, they're decorators. They've all worked as decorators. So, I can work as an assistant or I can work as a set dresser, which is great when it's slow and
Yeah.
there's nothing going
Yeah.
on.
That's how it should be. I mean, we should just be able to get a job. We're in a union. We should be able to get a job.
Yeah.
We all
So,
pay dues. Why not?
uh,
But yeah.
I'm
Uh,
kind of all over the place, but kind of don't mean to ramble, but I think the
no.
purpose, what I'm saying is, because I can hire such incredibly great people, I can hire people who can take a set and run with it. It gives me a lot of flexibility. And so what I'll usually do is I'll assign, a set to a particular assistant, and then they'll work on that. And we work on it closely together. This was the break room, which was an existing set, but we repurposed it and changed it quite a bit. Um,
These chairs got a lot of love online.
So they were, this is,
Chairs.
yeah, so this was scripted as beanbags.
Oh wow.
And I'm like, that'll never work because
Actors don't like beanbags. I'll tell you that
no,
right
actors
now.
don't like them and they're not
You
really,
do
they don't,
DPs.
They don't fall into the,
Nimrod.
or the sound department doesn't like them either.
Yeah.
Would
Yeah.
make a lot of enemies, but they also
Yeah.
don't fall into the Lumen aesthetic. They're just so messy and kind of bouncy. So, this is a perfect case where we would take something and really from the script and this do our own version of it. And we looked at a lot of chairs, and these really fit into our world because we kind of like the idea that a lot of things are made at Lumen and a lot of things are 3D printed. Not that these chairs are 3D printed, but they look like they could be. And they're not that well known. I mean, I really try to avoid anything that's iconic. Uh, they should be. I mean, maybe they are now, but I mean, Mark Newsom's a really well-known designer. And they kind of fall into the same shape as the projector. So
Yeah.
were really,
They work
and
perfect.
they're
The Nimrod
reused.
chair, right?
Yeah, it's the Nimrod
Yeah.
chair by Mark
What a great
Newsom.
name.
I don't really think we reupholstered them. I think that's the
They come.
color.
I saw that they came in different
Yeah.
colors, like red
Yeah.
and bright blue and everything, but and I to be honest, I don't know because you it seems like the color timing on this show is so different. I have no idea what colors if something really is in this show
Yeah, we
compared.
don't either. It's a
I,
real no, it's a real challenge because
yeah.
the color timing is so specific and everything goes through. I guess it's called a LUT, which is a type of a filter, and we don't exactly know how things are gonna look. So that's why we camera test so much, so we can see then. But
So
so when we're shopping, and so we'll test a lot of different fabrics to make sure we get into the right range. And I reused them here. I
are they
had
the
a
same color? Are these the same color?
No,
No,
they're different.
they're the purple. They're purple?
These
Those are purple.
these are purple, and in the other room, we everything in this room is pretty much the same color. We dyed the carpet, we dyed the fabric, the chairs. There's another banquette in the other part of the room. So we dyed it all to get to this color.
The meeting room, the
Yeah,
the,
yeah, this is the Audi visitation room, which was the security room in the first season.
there's a oh there's something to me too that takes a little bit in the design of it that seems sometimes very like Star Wars to me. And this is one of the rooms that reminds me like the repetition of like your the grates on the wall on the ceilings or the walls or like the lights in here. Like I'm always like, oh, are they on a spaceship
Hmm.
sometimes? Like I get that vibe sometimes.
Yeah,
I
maybe
really
this
like.
is the only room I think I feel that in, but yeah, maybe I don't know. Uh, that wasn't something that wasn't in our lexicon or.
I like it. I love all the monochromatics in the rooms.
Yeah, we really played with that a lot. We did that here. We did that even in the Audi world. The drippy potting in Salt Snack was
Yeah.
monochromatic, and I mean anywhere we could do that, we did it. We did a lot. I love just having one or two colors. Milchek's the management office, the back room, which is a new set, is pretty monochromatic,
Yeah.
and we the joke is like I powder coat everything. So like all the shelving in his office in his the back room is powder coated. Anything metal I end up powder coating so we can control the color and um yeah my set dressing team would still will make fun of me for that.
In I want to go to this for 1 second because I seem to be always on a lot of shows that use a lot of podiums.
We made it.
You
I had
made
to
it.
fabricate it.
Oh my God, I love it.
Yeah.
It looks like it's a book opening to me or like a
Yeah.
bird or something. It's like it's such a beautiful like podium to me or lectern or it's a beautiful piece.
Yeah. We fabricate so much stuff. I don't know what percentage, but I would say at least 40%. And this is powder coated. It's fabricated and then sent out to be powder coated. And I've done fabrication in the past. I mean, I did a lot in Spaceman, but nothing at as much as we did on this show. And it's incredibly challenging. Like the vendor who I had a lot of different vendors, and the one who did this, I think they had to make it 3 times because they could never get Like you never get it to line up. Um,
Mm.
and we have what we call the lumen standard. Everything is we're very precise about things. It has to be perfect. So, but we did eventually get it. I think we made two or three of them,
Yeah.
and hopefully we'll see it again. I like the idea of repeating things. That's why I use the chairs both in the break room and in outing visitation. It's in a corporate environment, you see the
Yeah.
same thing. So there's a great folding chair we have from Cappellini, which we ended up not seeing a lot of. We used them for the funeral in this room. We probably bought like 20 of those, and they were also powder coated, and we would use those
I have a,
often.
I don't think I have a picture of those.
Yeah,
Oh
they
wait, you
show
can
up every
kind of,
now and then.
oh, you can kind of see it in that one.
Yeah, you can see it, but they
Yeah.
fold together like this, like I can't even describe it. They fold flat. They're so cool.
So the artwork, which is there's not a lot of artwork in the show,
Which is yeah.
which is
This is the only piece of artwork on the severed floor that we brought in. Everything else we create.
was this scripted or was this
No.
idea from you?
No, this is we don't really so the show started the original script season one. It was written as an office like a kind of a regular office show.
Mhm.
And then Jeremy Hindle and Ben started talking, and you know, Jeremy pitched these ideas of what is now Severance, and it really took off from there. So, most scripts on Severance and any other job don't really give you a lot of information, which is good. It means we can kind of run with it. So this was from Jeremy had a conversation with Trammell, and asked for he's the actor who plays Milchek,
Mhm.
and asked for just what he thought his world would be like, his office would be like, and he had mentioned uh, icebergs, and not as art but just as a thing. And then the other thing he had talked about was the duck rabbit statue, which is on the left,
Uh-huh.
um, which we created in-house. So yeah, the painting is from an artist, Lisa Lebowski. I hope I'm pronouncing her name correctly. Um, and it's actually crazy because we found out later that it's a painting of an iceberg in Newfoundland, which is where we shot the Salt Licks episode.
Oh wow.
And it's from a series and this happens all the time on Severance. These crazy coincidences. It's from a series of paintings called, I think, Severed Icebergs or Severed. The word severed is in the title, so which we didn't know when we
Crazy. That's crazy.
and it
So
happens always. It's just crazy how much which means we're doing the right thing. Like I think the universe has us that just says, yes, you've done. This is what's supposed to be here.
it's funny to me because I was going to ask you about the bird head because I I not that I'm like a Severance freak or anything, but my whole TikTok feed is nothing but like theories. And there's so many theories about that come up about the set dressing and about that duck head and about the significance of it and what it means and why it's there and why it's his office and so it's like well the actor suggested it. It's like,
Well, it's more than that. I mean, if you look at it, so there's a famous uh, optical illusion called the duck rabbit. So if you look at it's a
yeah,
picture and you look at it one direction, it's a duck, and another direction, it's a rabbit, which is, you don't know. You're not quite sure what you're looking at. And that's what this is. And it works. I mean, I'm looking at it now. I'm like, wait, is it a duck or is it a rabbit?
I mean there's also a
So,
lot of like all the goat thing like the goat things in Mark's house
mhm.
or like things like that but
I mean, and Devin and Rickon's
Devin's house
house.
right
Yeah,
yeah
yeah, that's a season one. That's from season one. But yes, we have yeah, we like to do that
but
from
things
time to
like that is that are things like those are they asking you to put those in no.
no,
It's
no.
not. But it's because you're a set decorator, because you're thinking about this, because you and the designer are thinking like, okay, well, these things are meaningful and could and like it's part of our jobs putting these.
Yeah, and a lot of it is intuition, and we just feel
Yeah,
like it's the right thing. And it all goes through, it all ultimately all go through, Ben or and some, Dan, sometimes the writer, to, is this correct for what we're doing? Is this
right.
correct for the story? Is this, you know, but yeah, it's what we do. We, as a decorator and as a designer, we want to enhance the story through the environment.
I've definitely put things on the set thinking like, oh, this is clever. And then like Mike Schur like walking through and being like, that's a little too on the nose for me. Like, you know what I mean? And being like, okay,
Yeah.
yeah, I thought I'd try it, and it's like I like that you did that, but little too much or something,
That
like
oh yeah, that definitely happens, and
yeah,
that's happened on
I do that.
Severance. And
I
usually it's the design. I depend on the designer almost as an editor to
yeah,
kind of keep on track, and they'll come through and like, maybe that's not a great idea. Um, and this is what Miltek's office was, might have been my first set on on Severance, and I remember we dressed it, and I walked through it with the designer, and he was like, "Oh, this is great, it's perfect," and we walked through with Ben, and he took away about half of the stuff. Like, as you see, it wasn't as heavy as Knives Out, but it was,
well, that's what I was
it's,
gonna say. Is it hard for you? Because it's hard for me.
yeah, it is hard. It is
It's
really
hard
hard.
for me when they come because because I know like if they said in the set like it's minimally dressed and you dressed it minimally and then you're saying they came in and they took out 50%, it kills me because
Yeah,
then
I
I look
know.
at that and then I watch it and I think that's perfect. But you
That's
dressed it and you thought it
totally
was perfect. So
that's totally what happened.
it kills
Miltek's
me
office.
because I've had it done too where it's like
Yeah.
it was perfect how I had it and now you took it out and no
Yeah,
one's
and you
gonna
have like the
know.
most perfect thing dressed on the desk, and like, no, no. And I remember when I walked through with Ben, he was like he had like this armful of stuff, and I was like, oh, it was like my first time going through a set with him, and I was like, oh, this is heartbreaking, but I'm so happy with how it is and how it
Yeah,
turned out, and it's
it's
amazing,
hard.
and it also was a good education for me and Severance, and kind of the look of what we do and how it works. So it totally the right way, and yeah.
I really,
Oh,
I really appreciate the scale of the art. Like that's a
we
choice.
yeah, that was well, yeah, that was a Ben choice. We and Jeremy, we tested a lot. We printed this, we probably printed a half a dozen of them at different sizes, and I love the size we ended up with. It's
Yeah,
like the tip of
yeah,
the iceberg above its head, and
yes,
the negative space around it, and the blue. That blue is just amazing behind him.
so
It's
great. It's so great. It really I could stare at that and think like, oh my God, what's underneath it? Like what's going on? It's
yeah.
makes you think so much. It's so like in tide with the show. It's so perfect. I love it. Um, and then with artwork, these images are all made throughout the break rooms and everything that are so significant. And
Yeah, we have a really great graphic designer, Tansy Michaud. She was on season one and season two, and she's amazing. And she has kind of a direct line with Dan Erickson, the writer, and Ben, and so she's, often will just, and we trust her, and Jeremy trusts her so much that, she just kind of she'll go back and forth with them, and um ultimately it'll go through Jeremy, but she's great.
yeah, all of the files and the performance reviews and everything are so graphically brilliant, I must
Yeah.
say. Just the way they're presented, like that pack of his performance review and like all of that, all of those props are really fantastic.
Yeah. I mean, something I wanted to do is just reinforce the Lumen brand and the identity of the corporate identity, and that really happens with on the graphic side of things, and then in the design, the furniture choices, the colors, the things we do, really all are meant to uh, reinforce the brand identity. And I think season one was great, and season two it just got stronger, especially with graphics.
Yeah, it's wonderful. This had to be fun.
Oh my God,
The goat
this was
room.
the first. This is the first. Well, the vending machine.
The vending machine.
Maybe
Well,
you should ask me about the vending machine. Um,
well, yeah. I mean, the vending
Goat
machine
room
and
was
the chairs and the desk, but the goats. I mean, and that big vent on the wall to me is perfect. Even
it's the same vent. Yeah, it's the same vent
vertical.
that we have in MDR. So it's a repeat. You know, it's we made it, but
Is the
it's just a repeat of that. Yeah, there's a lot going on here. So this was the first set we did on location for season two, and we shot it on a golf course, and it's in a giant tent. So we found a location on a golf course. There's a giant tent that we used to support all the lighting, and then we built they built I don't know, maybe 30 or 40 feet of wall. I'm not sure. They built a section of wall, and then they repeated it in post digitally. Um, but for me, the desk is and those the chairs they're sitting in are more of those folding chairs that
um,
I was talking about. So like anywhere we could use them, I would. And the desk is from an Italian company, Olivetti. The same people made the typewriters.
hmm.
They had a line of furniture in the 60s. That I don't know if it was ever imported to the US. I had never seen it before. I was like, this stuff's amazing. So I just bought up so much of it, and we use it, and it's powder coated. So we would powder coat everything, so it's all the same. And we use it quite a bit. You don't really read it so much, but we do. Like the back room in Milchek's office is all Olivetti. I
Hmm.
used it in Mark in Gemma's office at Gans College. It's all Olivetti. Again, I wanted to use something that wasn't familiar. Like I didn't want to use a tank desk here. I wanted to use something, a version that was just a little bit off. And then, by powder coating it and changing it up a little bit, it becomes a new thing.
I mean, all of your choices aren't um casual. They aren't predictable. And that lends so much to this story of like, where are they? Are they in Europe?
Right.
Like are they in Europe? This isn't like American, like it's not like even the vending machine or like you're
Well,
saying the
we
chairs and
made the
everything.
vending machine.
Yeah.
Oh my God. That vending machine was a nightmare.
Oh,
Um,
you always get to easy things.
that was uh that was the first thing we fabricated, and I was very excited to do it, and we found this guy who makes custom vending machines, and um he was I don't know where he was. He wasn't in New York. He was like in Minnesota or something. And we were communicating with them. We did the design work in house, but we sent it to them, and they would send us pictures, but they were always from far away, and it looked really great in the photos. And then when it showed up, it was a total piece of garbage, and we had to totally remake it. And I learned a lot about fabrication. I'm like, we got to you really got to stay on top of it, and watch it every step of the way. And so, but it turned out fantastic, but it was a nightmare.
I
Um,
I hear you. You gotta say you're like, oh, the vending machine. That guy's got it. Yeah, that
yeah,
looks great. I'm not gonna think about it.
right,
And you're like,
right,
oh
and
my
it
God,
shows up.
what? Now what? At least hopefully it didn't show up last minute.
Uh, this was kind of last minute. Yeah, this was all very last minute because
I
they fell behind, and then my lead person, Carrie Weeks, who's amazing, calls me. And he's like, "Yeah, the vending machine just showed up. They dropped it off, and he's like, you might want to come take a look at it."
oh,
He
yeah,
knew, but he didn't want to tell me.
you know those you could hear it in their voice.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, you might want to come down here. Yeah. When you
Um,
said that you built this whole set on a golf course, my mind kind of exploded because I thought you built the whole room. I was like, wow, Greens really had fun with this. Like, that's
yeah.
pretty smart because I wouldn't have thought of it.
That was Jeremy. He's like he knew that we would never be able to, create this with greens, and have it just so, kind of
Yeah,
real,
real
and he wanted something massive, and
huge, huge hills and sets and
it was, yeah.
genius. That is genius. Let's get to the next one. Oh, my thing won't move. No, it won't. Oh, because I'm too small. Now I'm too big. There we go.
Oh my
This
gosh.
This had to be fun outside in the cold.
So this is probably the hardest thing I did on Severance, and what I love it is nobody knows this. Like, we fabricated these tents,
Oh, they're
and
beautiful.
it
They are
was
beautiful. I hope that
so
was
much.
your wrap gift. I hope everybody got a tent for a wrap gift.
You know, we shot this much longer than I think we were there. I don't know. I think we had a lot of weather issues, so we would shoot it, then we would take it down, and we would put it back up, and we had high winds, and the tents were designed to be beautiful, and they were designed to glow and do all the stuff, but they weren't really designed to be like, a fully functional tent.
Right.
So it was,
It's TV, it's the movies. Like,
yeah,
it's they're not real.
yeah. But this was a real environment, so but they were beautiful, and I loved them, and it was a huge amount of work. Sarah McMillan, who's was one of our assistants at Decorators, this was her project, and she really spearheaded it, and yeah, it was fantastic. I was there's a museum in New York called the Cupid Hewitt. It's a design museum, and I was there. I think I might have been shopping for something for the show, and I just picked up a book, and they had it was one of their design shows from like the 60s or 70s, and there was a tent in there that it was like basically a folding tent. I'm like, oh my God, this is amazing, and I showed it to Jeremy, and then we kind of ran with it and
Yeah, it's like an
designed
accordion.
it. Yeah, exactly.
Isn't it so great when you look back at old design that never really made it, but was so cool? Like,
Yeah.
why didn't they go down those roads? Like, why isn't this a real thing? It's crazy.
Yeah, no, I mean it's great reference. It's a great starting point. And then we wanted the inside of it to look like almost like inside of a whale, with the ribs and the
Yeah.
the framing in there. And then we also built the heater. We designed and built the heater, the sleeping bags. Everything in here was fabricated, and it's like so much work, but so great.
So you went to Newfoundland,
I did.
and how long were you guys shooting there?
Uh, Not that, maybe 10 days or yeah, 10 to 12 days. I mean, there was a lot of second unit stuff. Um, I had a crew that so we had a really great crew out of St. John's, which is there's such a pretty big film industry there. And then I had a lead man from New York go up there, and I had Sarah McMillan again, went up there, and kind of led the charge. And then I went up for maybe a week before shooting, and then came back to New York a couple of days after shooting because we were still, full speed ahead here.
Mm.
I think we were dressing the Egan Mansion, so I had to get back to do that,
Oh,
and
I
then the
have.
strike, and then
I
the
have.
strike happened.
Yeah.
So,
Ugh.
but the tents were shot here in New York in Minnewaska State Park.
Oh, God. I love this room too. The
It's
simplicity
so
of it
great.
and the weirdness of it, and those panels that just like
Yeah.
come up and show the light a little bit, and these weirdo computers you fabricated, and
Yeah.
how
Yeah, like
dark.
these computers fall or from Cat Miller, our prop master, who's incredible. And the desk I had fabricated. Again, I could have used a tank desk, um, but it just wanted to be a little bit
Yeah.
off. And the chairs are the same chairs from MDR.
Mm, I love that room. And it's so and design wise with the column in the middle. Like to
Well,
me,
it's meant to be below MDR. So the column is connects to the MDR desk up top. And then we have a scene in episode 7 where the camera goes through the column.
right. Oh, right, right. Um, and then the whole episode with Gemma and her world for, I mean, we could talk about that forever, but
Oh my God, it's episode 7
oh,
is
oh my
amazing.
God. Oh, how,
Jess Lagagne, who was our, usually our DP, was the director on it, and
yeah, what a
she was
fantastic
just
job she did. Fantastic.
incredible. I loved working with her, and this is an entire stage of scenery. I mean, we built all the hallways and all the rooms, and
Whole
this
floor.
was
I mean,
yeah
every
crazy.
every room she goes in is such a traumatic experience, but it's the design of it is so simplistic but so meaningful. Like the stereo on the wall, and she has, I mean, the sad little table she has over there, and she only has the little kid. Like it's so sad.
Yeah, it's like a prison basically. It's a lumen prison cell, and everything is very purposeful. So
Yeah.
we built the furniture. These two pieces we built, and then the table that she sits at we built, and then other stuff. The kitchen we built.
This is saddest scene. Everything. So when you gather that this is the Christmas scene where she's writing the thank yous with her left hand.
Hmm.
So did is it you and I'm gonna say is it Jeremy, the designer, right? Jeremy.
Jeremy Handel.
I got his name wrong. Well, is it you and Jeremy who said like it's this like green color, or was it scripted? Because the green to me is such a like ugh, such a downer.
It
And
was.
the red, I mean,
Um, I mean, it wasn't scripted. It fell into the idea of these not a pretty much a monochromatic set. Um, Jess Lagana was really involved in the color with this, along with Jeremy. I think we tested a lot of greens. I think it's the sofa and the chair are from I don't know, from Czechoslovakia, or Janelle Marie, another one of our assistant decorators, found it. And so, it's just weird. I've never seen it before. I'm like, we got
yeah.
to have it. And I think we took the color of the walls from the sofa. We
Mm.
kind of pulled it. And then the table she's sitting at, we had made by, it was the same artist, this guy, Quincy Ellis, who made the conference room table, the boardroom table. So it is also resin. Um, and yeah, I think what was scripted, it was all the gifts were supposed to be 3D printed, which at one point we thought about doing, and just, we're like, just paint them. It would be a lot easier. We did 3D print the Christmas ornaments, which are
Oh,
really beautiful. And
yeah.
then we were in Mark and Gemma's house. We use real ornaments, I mean, an actual ornament so we started with the ornaments at their house. We based that. That's what we based the 3D print on.
But what I love is that's about how much tinsel my mom uses every year. So-
Yeah, we almost weren't able to use tinsel. The health and safety was like, you can't use tinsel.
Really? Oh
And
my
I'm like,
gosh. You can still
so
buy it on
we had
Amazon.
meetings. I mean, there was meetings about it. There was like,
Really?
what's the tinsel meeting? And they
Oh
finally
my
they said, okay, as
God.
long as you have to put up signs that say, do not eat the tinsel, do not lick it, or I'm joking. We had these signs all over the
Oh
set.
my
Do not eat the tinsel.
God.
But
Oh, so
and then
sensitive.
the carpet.
You're you're power coding everything. And they're worried about the tinsel.
Yeah. You can't see it, but the drapery in there is the same. It's a green colorway, but it's the same fabric that we used in the airplane for the seats in the airplane,
Oh wow.
which is it was a Maharam fabric.
So much
Um,
detail, David, so much. And then we get to this episode, which I didn't appreciate watching her take a nap, but I get it. There was a lot going on in this episode, but like time's ticking, people. I don't want to watch her take a
yeah,
nap. But the inspiration for this town and for this look, where did this come from?
we just wanted this idea that Lumen just kind of decimated this town and left it behind, and
Yeah.
so this house is an actual house. The bedroom where you're talking about, she's taking a nap, which she's lying down, is on stage. And
Right.
this it was, yeah. So this is on stage, and the bed is, she was sick. The idea was her mom was sick for a while, so I'm like, she
Yeah.
probably have a hospital bed. So,
So
but
creepy. It's
yeah,
so
but this bed is from a ship. It's a hospital bed from like an infirmary on a ship.
oh, nice. It's
It was a lot. It was higher, and Ben's like, you gotta, he wanted it lower, so we ended up cutting it down a little bit, which is probably a good idea looking at this. I'm like, gosh, you'd be almost touching the ceiling.
But weren't you so happy to get into these types of sets after being at Lumen for so long and really diving into like, oh, let's wax
Yeah,
curtains, let's get some dirty, let's get some detail, and I mean,
total, absolutely. This is again, this is more my world, and Mark and Gemma's house was just one of my
yeah.
favorite sets.
Well,
Or episode 7.
I don't think I put any. I mean, I took a screenshot of this. That's why it looks different. But like the detail of all of this and like the meaning that you
Yeah,
go through with some of your smalls and really
I
getting
mean,
into
this is
storytelling.
yeah. I mean, we didn't really have much information other than it was an altar, and so we referenced back to season 1, the Cobell's altar in season 1. Like, I guess not Cobell, was Salvage, um, and so some of these objects are from like those heads are I think were from the season 1 altar, and then I just shopped a bunch of Katie LaBelle, who was one of our assistants, shopped a lot of this stuff, and I just put it all together like on the moment. And I think there's I was reading on Reddit. I think somebody was talking about the whalebone and theories about it, and,
Oh my
and
God.
and all those theories are right in my mind. It's like a piece of art. You have 10 people look at it, they're all going to interpret it in a different way. But it was just an instinctual kind of thing for me to do to create this and add these layers.
So many people talked about this. I mean, it's like you're blowing people's
I, I
minds.
I started in the film industry in New Orleans, and I've done a lot of voodoo altars. So
Yeah,
it's
there you
in my
go.
back pocket.
But this to me too was such like almost like everybody out. Everybody get out. I just want to
Uh,
focus. I want to focus on this for 5 minutes.
yeah,
Just please get
yeah, no,
out.
that's exactly how it worked. And I was lucky because this room was actually at the location, and we could only have 3 or 4 people on the second floor of his house at a time because it was really falling apart.
Wow.
And that really helped me to have some alone time to dress this, which you never get. It's hard. It's really hard.
No, you really don't. I do want to go back. I have it in the wrong order here, but the house, this
Yeah,
house is amazing. Where's
yeah.
this? Where's this house?
So this is I think the town is called Prairieville. It's in upstate New York, near Hudson, New York. Um, and yeah, we looked at a lot of houses, and I mean, could not be more perfect for the Egan's because the top. We didn't see a lot of it in the episode, but the top is glass, but beneath it is a subterranean. A lot of the house is subterranean, just just crazy. Um, yeah,
And to catch it
this
on
was
such a beautiful snowy day.
well, that snow wasn't there.
No, I know
Uh,
that.
and that's carpet. We carpeted the entire house,
Oh
uh,
wow.
and this happened right during the strike, right before the strike. So, and this is a true story. I was on the phone. I was in Canada, and I was on the phone with our lead person, Carrie, and he was worried about getting it all done in time. He was calling me to say, "Oh my God, we just finished it. It looks amazing." They were done like 2 days ahead of schedule. He was really happy and really proud of it. And then I had call waiting, and I clicked over, and it was our producer, and she's like, "We're not going to shoot there because of strike.
Oh my God.
You got to restore the house, pull out all the carpet."
Oh my God.
So then, eventually after the strike, we came back and we recarpeted the whole house. Um, and yeah,
That's
everything in this room we brought in, and the tables. You can't. I wish you saw more, but the table's amazing. It's from a designer named John Pomp, um, and it's actually severed. It's 2 large pieces of glass that are severed, and not even. I don't even think it's in the middle. It's like off to one side.
I don't think I saw that in there.
It's where she's having the egg. I mean, it's where
Yeah.
we're looking, but you don't see much of this.
What is the artwork over the fireplace?
It's a wall hanging. It's a
Walking.
tapestry. I don't have the name of the artist in front of me, unfortunately. Um,
It's
it was
gorgeous.
it was not. It was this thing. Yeah, this again. It was this instinct. We saw it. It was with Jeremy, which is a rare thing. I don't. we don't spend a lot of time out shopping together, but this one day we were, and we saw it, and we're like, oh my God, it's perfect. Let's get it.
Do you find that the vibe for this house is just like uncomfortable? Is that what the vibe is for this? Like just
Cold, weird, uncomfortable,
yeah,
things that you've never seen before, like things you would, yeah, just like
just weird.
they have all this money, they can have anything. They're gonna
Yeah.
have one off, one of a kind, you know, beautiful things.
Oh, nailed it. Um, I know I'm running out of time with you. You sent me this
I'm free,
oh,
so tell
the
me.
you sent me this little video this morning, which I didn't see on the Severance Instagram page, but then I pulled all these little details that you had they have on the Instagram page from, is it you and your buyers?
No, this is this Katie. Her shopping. She put it. These are things she was working on through the show, and I loved it because it shows just the kind of behind the scenes process,
Yeah.
and you know the the blank. That's the blanket from Cobell's mom's bed, and we dyed it. We dye everything. The plate was
The
the
plate find is
plate.
a
Oh my
fantastic
God,
one.
it's incredible.
That's great.
She I sent her to this. I knew this dealer in New York that I hadn't worked with before, but I knew they had amazing, 18th, 19th century dishware, and so she went there and looked at photographed hundreds and hundreds of plates, and I kept going through the photographs, and finally, I just I went there with her, and she knew this one's the one, but I had to look at it, all of them, and it's
It's
perfect.
it's perfect. And so many
Our prop master
very
wasn't very happy about it because there was only one.
yeah, yeah.
But we figured out a solution. I was able to we made duplicates,
All
at
right.
least that was good enough in case she
Make
needed
prop
it.
make props happy. Get doubles, get triples. But her that Instagram story is pretty fantastic too, and just the amount of research and places that the buyers and ourselves have to go to, and the places it takes us. Oh, the places we go. That's so
That's the fun part of the job.
yeah. And
And
these dirty, dirty.
unfortunately, as a decorator, we spend a lot of time in meetings, and our buyers are doing the fun stuff. But
I know. I miss that. I miss
I
going.
do too.
Although I don't, so there was that one picture of all these like this old drapery or old, I don't know what it was, but I was like, oh, that's gross. That is gross. I do not want to be
Yeah,
in that room.
the picture with the babies. That's all.
Yeah.
That's all stuff she bought for the shrine.
I
Uh,
mean, there's like just like sunken baby heads. I don't even know why. I don't know why it still exists. It's so weird that people hang on to this stuff. It's so weird.
thank God they do.
Yeah,
We'd be
yeah, I know. And then this, the art at the in the last episode, how long did that take to like talk about, to produce? I mean, that's a big discussion, that piece of artwork.
This is yeah, both of these are a big discussion, and I wasn't really involved
Hmm.
in all that much. It really, we have a in-house illustrator, Danny, who is amazing. He did both of these, and then we would send it over to the Scenics, and they would paint it from his illustration. So not lots of discussion went into them, a lot of back and forth with Jeremy and Ben, and here we go. Here we are.
Yeah. It's I stopped it when I was watching it just to look, and I mean they kept doing close-ups and everything, and then I don't know. I have so many questions about the piece of artwork of like, aren't you giving a lot away? And that's one, it's his innie and outie life. And like, it's like,
Yeah.
I don't understand why, but but yeah, it's a big piece of art. That's all I know to like get produced and get up there. And so I was just wondering about, oh, that's what I wanted to ask. Do you have, did they have all the scripts? Did you have did you have like the first three and then you had the next six? Like
When I first started, we did not. We had outlines. I mean, we had detailed outlines. So, we knew the sets that were coming up, so we could start thinking. about it, and then, but yeah, it wasn't. We weren't waiting on a script. It wasn't. I don't ever remember waiting on a script. We had information, and we need it because we need so much time to get things done. And and there's always things develop and change as you go down the road.
Yeah. I would say I'm starting up a new show and we have all 8 scripts.
Oh, amazing.
First time. I think it's the first time I've ever worked on a show.
I mean, yeah, I
But
Severance is a little bit more. We treat it a little bit more like a movie,
yeah.
in a way. Um, Episodic is so. It's not. I wouldn't call it episodic. Episodic is so hard too.
No, I
I've
mean
done
you're
a lot of it.
shooting
There's
it's
nothing harder.
things like this, like I mean, there's like I have done episodic for FX and for Apple and Netflix. They're movies. They're 1 hour
Yeah,
movies. I mean,
that's
you did the finale is an hour and a half. You did a full movie. I mean, you did,
yeah,
these aren't TV series. They're films. So it's
yeah. We
amazing.
we
Um,
approach it that way, and we had we were in a production. We were in a meeting, a production meeting, and I think we're trying to figure out the schedule. And our AD, one of our ADs, is like, we need more work in the squad room because we don't have a squad room. It's just like you do an episodic show like Damages, or you have your
yeah,
permanent sets that you can always go back to and shoot 3 or 4 days. And it's there's a rhythm and formula to it where we don't have that.
yeah. How was it? I'm assuming you had that little goat trap made at the
We
end,
did. We made the the goat trap, and we made the sink, and we made
the gun hole.
the little gun holder.
What a
And
what a scene! What an episode! I mean, that finale was fantastic, I must say.
the set dressers are happy that this ended up being done by, this is not real tile. We were going to do real tile at one point, which
Oh,
in New York would be set dressing. So they were happy that we did it scenically. A lot of tile.
it's not real tile, it's scenic, done.
Yeah, I think,
Mm.
yeah,
Yeah.
the construction department, CNC it, and then it would get scenic.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Well, it looks great. I mean, it looked like reads
Yeah, it
as
looks great.
yeah, it looks great. Um, I think that's all I have picture wise. But for the first time, I put it out there on TikTok that I was going to have you on, and I asked for questions. So I have a couple questions.
Okay.
Awesome.
Okay.
Um, what was the hardest set piece to source?
I mean, I think it would be things that we fabricated. So probably the tents, just because they were so simple, but they ended up being so complicated because they really had to work and withstand the elements. And I mean, one night we had like 80 to 100 mile an hour winds all night.
Mm.
So it was, I would say the tents. And the other thing, we love Dieter Rams, the designer. He's been very inspirational in kind of the look of the show. And so that the television that's in the Christmas room, and we see it again in the boardroom, was pretty challenging to come by. And we ended up getting it from they have an archive. Braun has an archive, and they lent it. It's on loan to
Oh
us.
wow.
So, but we had to send somebody to Germany to go pick it up.
Oh my God.
Um,
That's trust.
yeah.
How
Well, it's
much
been great. I
how much
mean,
was that deposit?
no,
That's like, I don't know. Did accounting let you do that?
yeah.
That's awesome. This probably might not be you, but is there a significance of the color purple in wardrobe and in set dressing?
Um, I mean, we are very, color is very controlled, and we think a lot about it. But I don't know. Let's let that remain a mystery.
Okay, I think so too. But I think I asked you this already. How much of the Kier Shrine was the writers and or was it you're doing that was mostly from your sources? Let's see.
Yeah, I mean, I think on those things, it's mostly our doing, but I would always we would send it through, we have a good relationship with Dan, the writer. So, we would always send him questions. And um, like for instance, in the birthing cabin, there's two like statues there and irons, but I had this idea of having figures on top of them, and then we came up with the idea of making sculptures, and then we made up, who would they be, and Kier Egan and his wife, and so we were talking to Dan about that, and he's like, Kier should be pregnant with industry.
Mm.
So we have those two. There's a shot of them. It's pretty amazing. They're the two pregnant figures. So we communicate with the writer quite a bit.
Oh, that actually answers another question about what was the inspiration of the town of Kier. So that answers that one.
Uh, yeah, I mean, Cures, they control, Lumen controls everything. And, in season one, I think there's a Cure clothing store, one of the windows, the shop windows. We did a little bit of that, and we didn't do much street dressing. There's a store window we dressed next to the Chinese restaurant. There's a couple windows next to where Irving makes his phone call, but we didn't really see a lot of here where you could see much.
Did you fabricate that neon for the Chinese restaurant?
I think no. Was that might? Yeah, I don't know. I don't remember.
That's huge too. Everyone's talking about that neon being the name
I'm
Fox.
trying to remember. Yeah, was that in? I don't think we. Yeah, I don't remember. It becomes a blur.
I
You do
know.
so much.
I know. Um,
Uh,
the other ones I'm reading, I answered a lot of them during the interview, so but thank you. I could talk to you forever, ever. You're so good. But
yeah,
yeah,
it's a
it's
lot of fun. Nice
it's
talking to another decorator.
it's such a great project. I'm so jealous. So jealous.
I'm so lucky. I feel so lucky to be on it, and
Now,
working
now
with
when
Jeremy. It's a dream team. He's an old friend of mine. We've worked on other things together, and
oh, that's great.
I
That's
was
great.
I turned him down for season one because I was on something else. Was regretted it, but it all
Well,
worked out.
you made up for it. You got season two. When what do you think season three? I mean, like I like big announcement, like, oh, it's picked up for season three. Like, yeah, no kid. To me, I always think like the name of the production company is fifth season, and I'm like, well, they
Yeah,
probably have to go 5 seasons. Like
yeah.
to me,
I
but
mean, in fairness, we started season two in COVID was still a thing, so that was we were working, but it was still testing every day, going through all that, and then the strike really had a huge
yeah,
impact.
yeah. I mean,
And Banner said it will not take as long, so I hope that's true. I don't know when it's starting, but hopefully soon. I'm not working, I'm available.
I hope it does. I mean, I know it's a long road to get, these big shows written and, designed and up and running and everything. And as a viewer, you just want to consume, but, you know, it takes time to get there, but
Yeah,
wonderful, just a wonderful job. Thank you for giving me the time for this.
absolutely.